Places, everyone, places. The awards ceremony is about to begin. Imagine yourself at an awards ceremony. This is the moment you have been waiting for. You've been working towards this for what feels like an eternity, and it's finally here. Everyone around you is so quiet, you're certain you can hear a pin drop if, for some reason, somebody decided to drop a pin. Everyone is tense, waiting to hear the name of the champion. And then they announce, and it's you! You have won! Your teammates cheer and your loved ones shout your name as you approach the stage, arms outstretched for that trophy you've worked so hard for so long for. But then a murmur rises up in the crowd. It is dark and deep, and it tugs the corners of your mouth down, and it makes your chest ache. These voices that surround you say they don't deserve it. Someone else should have won. Someone else deserves it more. Someone else worked harder. Someone else worked longer. They're not grateful, and they don't care about their win. And you think, how dare they? They don't know you. They don't know how hard you worked. And they don't know what this moment means to you, and that with every word, they take it from you. Now pull yourself out of this dream and imagine this happening to a child. Imagine this happening to a child at a Christian event, where love and compassion are supposed to be the messages we not only speak, but live. Through this speech, I will not be giving you a specific course of action against these voices because, unfortunately, there isn't one. They will never be completely eradicated. But I earnestly hope to raise awareness on the issue of what is commonly referred to as haters, so that we can not only understand the problem facing us, but will know how we can respond to it. We will first examine the reason for haters behaving the way they do. Then we will examine the impact that it has on their victims, and finally, what sort of response we can give, not only to them, but to those that they are targeting. Now, hating is commonly defined as gossip, because at face value, that is what the haters are doing. But while gossip can be about a positive subject, hating never is. The hater's specific intent is to hurt another person, either by personally wounding them or by negatively impacting the way people view that individual. Celebrities are some of the best known victims of haters, which shows the root of the problem to be jealousy and or an odd sort of idolization, where they hold that individual to a higher standard than they would themselves or anyone else. Sandra Bullock is one of my favorite actresses. She's best known for her performances in the Miss Congeniality series, The Blind Side, and Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. Sandra won the Academy Award for her performance in The Blind Side, and during her acceptance speech, she gushed about how beautiful her husband is, about how wonderful her family is, and about how honored she was to have received the award. People noted that Sandra is extremely talented, but that she's also a genuine person. When she says she cares about the human condition, she means it. She's not just trying to get good press, get more fans, or get more jobs. And she's donated hours of her own time and thousands of dollars of her own money to help the people around her and around the world. Everyone loves her for this, and everyone loved that she won the Academy Award. But just a few days after this speech, a scandal was uncovered about Sandra Bullock's life. It was revealed that her husband had been having multiple affairs on the side. And almost immediately after this became publicly known, Jesse James began spreading messages of hate about his ex-wife, saying that it was her fault and he was the victim. He was the one everyone needed to feel sorry for. Gossip columns spread this news like wildfire. But it is important to note that during the early months of the scandal, Sandra made no real interviews and never told her side of the story. When she finally came public, she confessed that she was perfectly content to be permanently broken, because all of the evidence pointed the blame on Jesse James. and none of it on Sandra. And Sandra's interviews revealed this to be true, but no one wanted to tell that side of the story. They wanted the interesting one. Because this woman seemed so composed, and they wanted to break her further than she was already broken. They wanted to drive that nail just a little bit deeper to see how far they could get her to bend. And she couldn't believe they would do this to her when she tried so hard to help everyone around her. Some people confess that they did this because they were jealous of Sandra and the strength that she seemed to have. They wanted to see her cry. But other people, as one woman put it, stated, "I used to be a fan of Sandra Bullock, and I held her on a pedestal higher than anyone else. But when she showed this moment of humanity, I felt like she had personally let me down by being less than what I thought she was." Now, celebrities aren't the only victims of this behavior. There are junior high and high school students of all different talents, both those at chess competitions, academic achievements, athletic achievements, or even speech and debate competitions like we're at today, that are victims of this behavior. And the root of the problem is jealousy, or never being satisfied with the reactions these people give us. But you might be thinking, this is petty behavior. If you ignore them, they'll go away because all they want is a reaction. And this is a common mindset for bullying in general. If you pretend they're not there, they'll leave you alone. But this is a lot harder than it sounds. I myself have been a victim of this behavior. Last year, I had the incredible blessing of winning extemporaneous speaking at the National Invitational Tournament of Champions. I was picked out of 8 finalists of homeschool competitors across the United States to being #1. And words cannot express my joy in that moment because my own best friend was one of the finalists. And I had such high respect for the other 7 competitors that no matter what my place would have been, I would have been happy. So when I accepted that trophy and my friends bombarded me with hugs, I was overjoyed. But almost instantly after accepting my award, there were competitors that told me both to my face and behind my back that I didn't deserve the award, either because I had tried to make the speech funny and extemporaneous isn't a funny event, I wasn't as experienced in the event and someone else was, or the other competitors deserved it more for one reason or another. I wish I could have ignored these voices, but I didn't. And I wanted to give up extemporaneous speaking. And I made myself sick with worry because I knew if I didn't win again, not only would I not prove myself to these haters, but I wouldn't prove myself to me. Because I started to buy in to what they were saying, and I am not alone. I have had so many students ask me, not just in speech and debate competitions, but of other achievements as well, to give this speech without giving their names because they have made themselves physically ill worrying about achieving their success time and time again to prove themselves not only to everyone else, but to their own personal opinions. Because they start to believe they don't deserve to do well. And people think these comments are innocent, they think we don't hear them, they think we don't matter, but they do matter. We hear them, and it hurts. Sandra Bullock wanted to give up acting completely after she was crushed by everyone around her. And there are children that are going through the same thing, and there are even adults of all talents going through the same thing. So hating is a problem we can't ignore. So then what response should we have? Demi Lovato is a celebrity that was a victim of hating simply because of the way she looked. But she put it best when she said, "The power of love is stronger than the pressure to be perfect." We must first and foremost love the victims of hating and tell them that there is no such thing as a fluke success and no such thing as an accidental win. Whether they do it once or they do it time and time again, they deserve it, no matter what anyone else says. But we must also tell those engaging in this behavior, whether they are being intentionally malicious or they think it an innocent comment, that no matter who the person is, the behavior is unacceptable. And that they needn't be jealous or hold someone else to higher standards than they would themselves, because if they're not good at one thing, they're probably good at something else. That award ceremony I talked about at the beginning of this speech, might not be your reality, but it is the reality for people across the world. We need to understand why hating happens and what we can do to make a difference. Because while I don't believe it will ever go away, I believe we can have an impact. I don't want anyone else to have to go through what I and so many of my friends have gone through. Success should be a blessing, not a curse. Let's make it happen.